power to a person who has stated flat out that he wants to expand the surveillance state, not rein it in. Mr. President, here is the kind of world we are now living in, a world that should be of concern to every freedom-loving American, whether you're Democrat or Republican or independent, conservative or progressive. We are living in a world where government and the private sector often know where you are at any time. They know where you are. They know where you are traveling. They know what books you are reading, what websites you are visiting, and maybe the emails you are sending out or reading. You know, I hear a whole lot of discussion on the floor of the Senate about freedom, about our desire to live and defend a free society. I would ask my colleagues and the American people that when we talk about freedom, one of the attributes of a free society is the right to live our lives the way we want to live our lives without Big Brother knowing everything there is to know about us. You want to do what you want to do, it's your business. I want to do what I want to do, it's my business if we are not harming other people. I believe that that is a basic American right and a basic constitutional right. And I want to see people at the CIA, at the NSA, at other intelligence agencies who, yes, will be vigorous about defending us from terrorism, but will do it in a way that is constitutional, that protects the civil liberties and the civil rights of the American people. Mr. President, according to the Pew Internet Project, today 95% of American adults own a cell phone. More than 3/4 of American adults own a smartphone. 88% of American adults use the Internet. These advancements obviously have enormous advantages. Everybody knows all of the extraordinary things that we can do on the Internet and all the information we can gain. It's almost unthinkable that we were living not so many years ago without the advantages of the Internet. But all of these advantages, all of these conveniences comes with a price. If you have a Google account and the GPS enabled on your phone, Google creates a map for you of every single place you go in a given day. Facebook amasses a massive amount of data on you to better target commercials and advertisements to you. Credit card companies track your spending habits. Even innocuous things like a loyalty program in which you gain benefits by buying at a certain store give the private sector and the government eventually access to a massive amount of information about you. When you go to the grocery store and scan your card, it's very convenient, moves things faster, and you can get a discount. But the store gets to track everything that you purchased. Is that really what you want? Do you want the whole world to have knowledge of everything that you purchase? And just one rather famous example, Target, a huge chain in America, could tell if a woman was pregnant based on what she was purchasing at the store. Do we really feel comfortable about that kind of information getting out into the private sector or the government sector? Mr. President, if you were wearing a tracking device today to count your steps, to count your heart rate and your sleep patterns, you may see it as a way to become healthier. Your employer or health insurance company, however, may see it as a way to charge you more if you don't meet certain employee wellness targets. Are we really comfortable about corporations knowing all about our health. If you're dealing with a serious illness, maybe it's something you and your family want to keep within the bosom of your family and not spread to the whole world. The companies are collecting this much information on their own is very troubling to me. But Mr. Pompeo apparently wants to go even further. Last January, he published an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal in which he wrote, and I quote, "Congress should pass a law reestablishing collection of all metadata and combining it with publicly available financial and lifestyle information into a comprehensible, searchable database. Legal and bureaucratic impediments to surveillance should be removed." End of quote. Wow. What we are talking about is the United States government having, in many ways, more information about us than we may even understand about our own lives. In many ways, Mr. President, it sounds to me that we are moving toward an Orwellian society where between the government and the private sector, there is very little about ourselves that is not known by somebody else. And I am very, very uncomfortable about that. And I want at the head of the CIA somebody who understands thoroughly the Constitution of the United States and privacy rights, and understands that we can fight terrorism effectively within the Constitution and privacy rights guaranteed to the people of our country. Mr. President, since June of 2013, here is what we have already learned that the NSA collects, and that is phone call metadata, including the numbers of both parties, my number and the number of the person I call, location, time, and duration of that telephone call. NSA has access to text messages, email, chat, and internet browsing history, smartphone app data, including map data, which can pinpoint a person's location to within a few yards. They have data, they have maps of people's social networks, bank and credit card transactions. That is a lot of information held by the government and or private sector on the personal lives of the American people. Mr. President, as I have mentioned, there is nobody in this Congress who does not understand the threat of terrorism and does not want to see our government be as strong and vigorous as possible in fighting terrorism and getting all the information that we need to effectively combat terrorism, to make sure that if somebody is a suspect in terrorist activities, that we go after that person as strongly and as effectively as we can. But I believe from the bottom of my heart that we can do that without invading the privacy rights of the American people. It is just not acceptable for senator after senator to come up here and say, we are defending freedom, we live in a free society, and then vote to allow the government or the private sector to have an unbelievable amount of knowledge about each and every one of our personal lives. Mr. President, now more than ever, it is vital to have a head of the CIA who will stand up for our Constitution, stand up for privacy rights. Unfortunately, in my view, Mr. Pompeo is not that individual. And with that, Mr. President, I would yield the floor.
Mr. President.
Senator from Oklahoma.
Other people I believe that that is a basic American right and a basic constitutional right. And I want to see people at the CIA, at the NSA, and other intelligence agencies who, yes, will be vigorous about defending us from terrorism, but will do it in a way that is constitutional, that protects the civil liberties and the civil rights of the American people. Mr. President, according to the Pew Internet Project, today 95% of American adults own a cell phone. More than 3/4 of American adults own a smartphone. 88% of American adults use the Internet. These advancements obviously have enormous advantages. Everybody knows all of the extraordinary things that we can do on the Internet and all the information we can gain. It's almost unthinkable that we were living not so many years ago without the advantages of the Internet. But all of these advantages, all of these conveniences